Hello, ladies. My name is Yola Alsabag, and I am the co-founder of this wonderful group. I wanted to hop on real quick and introduce our other co-founder, Miss Linda Strong, and we're going to be discussing a few topics. As promised, we are working on more content for you guys, so this is kind of a trial and error. We would love some input as far as what you're looking for in our group. What you're trying to accomplish through us, but we all understand that this is not going to be overnight. So in kind of keeping up with our promises, we're just putting this out there as a video. I know that we're going to progress and we're going to continue to get better at this, but we're starting somewhere, right, Linda?
That's all you can hope for.
Amen. So just a little bit about myself. I have been licensed since 2018. I do final expense life insurance primarily and Medicare. I've gone into a little bit of ACA and, indemnities and stuff like that. I love collaborating with strong, beautiful women. That's how Linda and I kind of started collaborating. We have Carrie, who's also a admin for us, and you guys will get to know her. She's been putting out a couple of her content with us out there as well. But we're here to empower. We're here to kind of walk this journey together, if you will, kind of come up with some training. I know we go through a lot of the similarities. We all do different but same things, I would say. So in kind of today's topic, we'll be talking about objection handling. And I think that's a big one for most producers, especially if you're a new agent, like it just frazzles you. But Linda, I'm going to have you talk about yourself a little bit, and then we'll just kind of get into the mindset of sales objections.
Yeah, I do have to say that if nothing else, we did better than the first time that we tried to do this. We didn't even put it out. We couldn't figure it out. So we are getting better. So definitely bear with us. I've been in the insurance industry since 2016, kind of by happenstance. I came out of the military, got into selling cars. Luckily enough, a partner of our company came in to buy his wife a car, and the rest is kind of history. I saw financial services and what final expenses, which I focus on. I saw that I was able to not only be able to say that I serve my country, but I can now serve my community. So, like I said, 2016 is when I got in. I really do focus on final expense. Yola has pulled me into some other ventures, which, hey, we got to expand ourselves. But that being said, Yola and I, we don't have any real knowledge of certain lines of authority and insurance. So, if you're somebody that's in PNC or commercial or something like that, where you see a question being asked and we're kind of slow to respond, hey, jump in. We're always looking, like Yola said, for strong, beautiful women. Luckily, my last name is Strong, so we at least got 50% of that right. But jump in and reach out to one of us. We'd love to collaborate with some of you guys.
Yep, absolutely. And I know that I've thanked you for your service before, but I thank you for your service all the time. I think you are a badass. Any woman that actually, serves our country in that capacity is just, you've got my hats down to you.
Well,
And
I
you serve
appreciate
your
that.
community really well too. I've seen you in action. You and I have known each other for a few years at this point. So you are one of the highest top producers, and you serve with your heart too, which is also incredible. It's not always about the sale at the end of the world, at the end of the day, in our world, I should say.
Yeah.
So I know we just kind of both came off of a day of selling. You did better than I did today. You actually closed something. I said a prayer and left. But go ahead and let's start talking about some sales objections. I mean, we all handle them and we all go through them. So
yeah, I think just a little caveat there for everybody in face-to-face final expense. I did sell 2 policies today, and hopefully I didn't bring bed bugs home. At least the gentleman was nice enough to let me know up front that he had bed bugs. Hey, at the end of the day, I'm super thankful for that. But yeah, Yola, I put a post out, a poll out, and kind of ask, hey, what are some avenues that you guys would like to see some training on? And I think objections, the last I looked, was high up there. So I told Yola, I said, hey, let's come on and maybe not directly handle an objection, but kind of give you the mindset of how to handle it in the house. And then we're going to enlist the help of you guys once we publish this video to give us some objections that you want us to come back and handle. And we'll do that for you. But I mean, Yolla, the number one thing I think when you hear objections, it's really scary, like you said, for a brand new agent. But guys, objections are really a good thing. Number one, you don't want a yes man. If you get a yes ma'am or somebody that they're nodding their head, they agree with everything, they have no concerns, they're doing everything you say. Those are the clients that once you leave the house, they don't even call you to cancel. They call the company and cancel. So, we definitely want objections. We want to know concerns. That way we, as the producer, as the agent in the house, can address those concerns. I mean, Yolla, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with you 1,000%. I think we talked about earlier objections being more of a reflection that those are buyers. They're just trying to deflect. When you walk into the furniture store, that was a good one that I kind of thought off my head. But if you walk into a furniture store and you're just kind of looking around and the salesman comes in and says, can I help you? And you're like, no, I'm just browsing. Well, yeah, you're browsing because you're there for a reason. You don't randomly walk into, furniture stores just like this. You don't randomly make an appointment with a final expense life insurance agent. They know why we're there. Like if we're confused, like within the first 2 or 3 minutes, I'm making sure that that is why I'm there, right? So you sent in a postcard to our office. So you wanted to talk about, but I think objections are also a mindset. Like sometimes we freeze and we're like, oh my God, like I don't know how to handle this, or what do I say to that? For instance, I'm going to hand you one right now. The lady that says, I'm going to think about it. I think I need to call my kids because, this is really for them. So I want to talk to them about it, make sure they're okay. How do you handle that?
So if I'm having to be reactive, like I haven't done my work up front and I have to be reactive, is a lot different than being proactive. So guys, that's an objection that really you should never get, because in the first 5 to 10 minutes when you're warming up with Miss Johnson, you want to find that stuff out. Hey, do they live close? Do your children come and visit? Do you have holidays together? Is there anybody else that kind of helps you make decisions? Does anybody watch your money? All of those questions up front, you should be able to get out that, hey, I need to right now get a child involved before we get too deep, or I can move forward because Miss Johnson assures me that she makes all of her own decisions. Now, here's the caveat, Yolla, and I'm a little more blunt, a little more real in the field. A lot of times, you gotta be willing to say, Yolla, now you're saying you need to get to check with your children, but just a second ago, you said you made all your own decisions, right? You got to be willing to just kind of box it out a little bit with the client on that. But you got anything to add on the proactive side before I hit the reactive?
No, I mean, that's very smart.
Yeah. So on the reactive side, let's say, it slipped my mind. I didn't find out early enough that there was somebody else that was a decision maker. And I've gotten to where, I've presented numbers, and now she says, now Yolla says, it looks good, but I want to talk to my children. Yolla, the first thing I'm going to do is isolate the objection. I'm going to make sure that really is Yolla's objection and not a smokescreen, because most of the time it is a smokescreen. So I would say something like, hey, Yolla, I completely, get it. You got to talk to your children. I want my mom to talk to me when she's making a decision like this. But let me ask you, of these prices here, of these options, which one do you think would best suit your budget? Like, if there was, if you call your daughter, you call your children and they say, yeah, mom, I think you should go ahead and do this, which one would you choose? And I'm going to try to ask questions. Again, my presentation in the home is very conversational. I don't want them to think that they're going through a presentation, period. Right. But I want to make sure that I'm fighting the correct objection, because 9 times out of 10, that first knee jerk objection that you get is a smokescreen. And Miss Johnson has been around the block 100 times. She knows the deal. She gets it. She's seeing how strong of an agent you are.
That's true. That's very true. I always ask them, like, if you're gonna go to the grocery store and buy milk, would you call your kids and ask them that? And she would say, no, well, why? Of course not. Well, this is kind of the same thing. Like, first of all, we don't know if you're approved yet. So there's got to be an approval. And then, you talk about the free look period, most final expense policies. I'm not sure how it is in other lines of insurance because that might not, apply. But in the final expense world, there's like a 30-day, uh, it's called a free look period where they get to kind of do whatever they want with the policy. I always say go up on the coverage, go down on the coverage, or kind of leave it alone. I don't say we can cancel it within 30 days because that's setting myself up for a chargeback, and I don't do
yes. Yes.
So it's always up, down, or leave it alone. We're not, I'm not just saying, oh, you can change your mind in 30 days and just take it out today. That's not, that's never an option for them. But yeah.
Here's the other thing, Yola, is a lot of times if you are in the field and you're putting good hours in, you're getting good at bats, and you seem to be getting the same objections, I promise you, you're walking yourself into it. Right. You're asking for that. It's like, I remember when I first got into this business, banking objections were very common. I don't feel like they're as bad now because I think people are used to drafts.
Yeah.
But it used to be horrible. And I found that the more nervous and shifty I got when it came to asking for banking, the more nervous and shifty Miss Johnson got. Okay. So guys, that would be like, if you're taking notes and you're taking just little highlights, make sure that you're not walking yourself into an objection. It's like at the door, Yola. Somebody says, you do your door approach or whatever, and you say, do you got a few minutes for me? No, nobody has a few minutes for you. Change your language. Right. It just takes a few minutes. Do you want to do this inside or outside?
Right.
Right. You're giving them, right. Whatever they choose, you win.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Open-ended conversations, open-ended answers are just never a good idea. You want to give them a choice. Like, would you like morning or afternoon? Like, it's right. Not, well, it's one or the other. You don't get a choice as far as, a third option. There is no such thing. So,
and people don't like to follow, but they like to be led. And, you've got to be the one that, I heard somebody say that the difference in lose and close is just the C, and the C stands for conviction. If I don't believe what I'm selling, it's going to be very hard to convince and convict Miss Johnson to do what I want.
That's right.
That's a little bit off topic. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know. And you and I can get into tangents about insurance for hours, but we promised that we were going to keep this up to 15 minutes. This is a very interesting conversation, and I think we're going to have a lot more to discuss on this. I just wanted to kind of touch back to, if you don't make it a big deal, they don't make it a big deal. Like, just put your head down and just kind of make sure it's pretend like it's part of your everyday, what you do, every person that you see. This is just paperwork, right? My biggest thing was social security numbers, because you know how sometimes, especially seniors, like, oh, don't give out your social security number. I, in fact, had a lady's daughter come up to the house one day, or the door, when I was door knocking, and she's like, we got the card, we think this is a scam. I was like, ma'am, scammers don't come up to your house and show you their face and give you their license and tell you what they're doing. Like, scams don't happen that way. But going back to socials, it's the same thing. Like, why would I want to give you my social security number? Why should I give you my, but it's always like, I'm sorry, that's just what they ask me for. And this is what triggers a claim when something happens, because that's how they identify us these days. After that, it's up to them. Like, I'm not going to be combative. I'm not going to start arguing with Miss Mary as to why she should give me her social security number, because that sounds shady.
And she already knows. She knows the deal. You
Hmm.
know, she's bought a car in her life,
Right.
right? If you have to have your social to buy a car, you have to have your social to buy insurance. They're checking your health,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, but again, Yola, when you're new and you don't have this tool bag of, different things that you can throw out, it can get overwhelming. I would say, I know we got to wrap up in just a few minutes, but let's do this. Let's shift to the door. So if you can't get in the house, it's very hard to sell a policy. I maybe have sold a couple standing in a doorway, and it could have been a situation where there's bed bugs. I don't know. So, but if you can't get in the door, it's going to be much harder. What's your philosophy at the door? What's your, in fact, if you want to give your door approach really quick, just, for some young agents, and then I'll do the same, but let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, door knocking is my jam. I learned to love it because I hate dialing. So it was just natural for me. I do a lot better face to face. So I show up to somebody's house, usually because they fill out lead cards. I know some agents do cold door knocking, which I've never had to do. I wouldn't honestly because I'm too scary. Like I want to show up with authority. So I come in and obviously today is a field day. So usually I have my badge on and I have a shirt that says something. So today this one says I turned coffee into policies. And just the way you represent yourself when you're at the door first and foremost. You can't be scared when you show up to these people's houses. But you also don't want to scare them off like you're the FBI either. So there's a fine balance of how you show up, but think about a social worker when they show up to your house, like, just kind of knock on the door. Hi, are you Miss Linda? My name is
Yeah.
Yola. I'm a state regulated field underwriter. You sent in this postcard to our office, ma'am. Do you remember filling this postcard out? And I just usually show them the card with their handwriting.
Yeah, it looks like mine.
Okay, great. So it looks like our office has been having a hard time reaching you lately. And if you're like the majority of our seniors are probably bombarded with phone calls and numbers that you don't even recognize, huh? Yep. So, I'm the local agent. I'm the person that's been assigned to help you since you filled out the postcard. They have me in your area today and tomorrow. Now I'm actually on the way to an appointment right now. Would you like me to come back can I come in right now or can I come back in 15 minutes?
Now it's fine.
Okay, great. And I'll just walk in and kind of, start watching my surroundings because this is more of a conversational piece.
Yeah.
I am direct, but I don't also want to, again, show her, like, turn them off. I'm there to help. And when
Right.
they don't answer the phone, it's kind of concerning when you sent in a postcard for life insurance and you don't answer the door.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. I mean, whatever you use, guys. I mean, just become an expert at your own language is the biggest thing. Mine sounds pretty similar. It's a lot shorter than yours, but that's kind of my personality. Really, is like let's get right to the meat of it. But mine is knock knock knock.
Hi.
Yola. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Perfect. Hey, my name's Linda. I'm a benefits coordinator out in this area. We got the little postcard that you had sent back. It just takes me a few minutes to go over the rest of the information. You want to do this inside or outside?
Inside.
Perfect. And that's it. So it's, now I did something. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm not living and dying by one application. If I miss it, I asked her how she was doing and I waited for a response. That can go bad. And I've had it go bad. I've asked that question and somebody been like, my dog just died. How do you think I'm doing? Might have blown that one. I don't know. Right. So if you're young and you're not confident that you'll be able to converse with somebody easily, you can still say, how are you doing? But don't pause. So it would be like, knock, knock, knock.
Hi.
Hey, Yola, how are you? My name's Linda. I'm the benefits coordinator out here in this area. We got a little postcard that you had sent back to us. I just need a few minutes of your time. Do you want to do this inside or outside? So I
Right
still
now.
used my nicety, I still, was nice. Just don't give them time to interrupt, time to interject right there.
So if she says,
And
I don't have time right now, what do you say?
so again, I'm going to use my senses. I'm going to use my faculties. I'm going to, look and say, okay, is she dressed? Does she have her car keys or her purse? Can I tell that she is legitimately leaving, or is she in her house coat and shower cap? Right. And then I'm going to play off of that. So if I can tell that she's watching Maury Povich or whatever Western is on, and she's just brushing me off, remember, guys, you're at the door. It's a boxing match, right? The client's job is to get you off the porch as quickly as possible, and our job is to get in the house as quickly as possible. Okay. So if she says, hey, I really don't have time. Hey, I get it. I don't have a whole lot of time either. That's why they sent me out here. I'm pretty efficient at this. Give me 15 minutes and I'll be able to tell you whether we even need to set a follow-up appointment, inside or outside.
Love it. Love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
So you're kind of giving them an out. Hey, I don't know if I even need to come back. I don't know if I can help you. Kind of you're doing the takeaway right there. Give me 5 minutes and maybe I don't even need to come back. Remember, they want you gone. So 5 minutes, they'll give it to you.
Smart. Very smart.
Yeah. And the other thing on door is, Yola, you kind of hit on it. The UPS man doesn't care to knock on, come and leave a package, or DoorDash or Instacart, whatever. Right. So walk up like you are supposed to be there and choose the correct door. Use the door that family uses. I remember my first probably week in the field, and I was walking through spider webs to knock on the front door when there was a carport.
Yeah.
Right. So if they automatically 100% know you're a salesperson if you're knocking on the door that nobody uses, right? The other thing, and again, we will get off topic with this, so just briefly hit it. Don't dilly-dally. Don't pull in somebody's driveway and take 5 minutes to get out. They're looking out the curtain, they're looking out the blinds, and they're getting more and more suspicious as the longer you take. So I go light to the door. I go with my cell phone and my tablet. The tablet's under my arm. My cell phone's where I show my leads. Right. That's it. That's all I'm walking to the door with. So pull in the driveway or park on the street, whatever, and get your ass to the door like you're supposed to be there.
The other thing is, if there's a ring camera, like, it's called door knocking for a reason. I don't knock on doorbells. I don't hit a ring bell, or I don't do any of that. If they see me 9 times out of 10, I'll wave at the camera because, I have my badge on me that identifies me. I took it off before we started recording. But, if there's a camera and they're not home necessarily where they're going to see this later, I usually identify myself that way. It's just in front of the camera. I will not ring that camera though, because there's no reason. Because if they're outside the home, that's just kind of like a phone call, and it's like a cold knock, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's hard.
So I don't do that. It's called door knock for a reason.
I do the phantom wave. Like when I get out of the car, I'll do the phantom wave, like just in case they see me, and then they're like, "Shit, she saw me." Now I got to answer the door. I don't know if that, I just toss the hand up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I see them.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the same thing with the ring. I won't use it unless they come over it and speak to me. But I will dial them. If they've provided a phone number, I'll dial them from their porch, just right there. And, just say, hey, you'd fill this postcard out. I was here. I just want to make sure you weren't in the back and couldn't hear me or something. But take your shots. And that's, I try to teach young agents, if you get a live person at the door, take your shots. Keep the conversation going, and we can get into that because that's definitely off the topic of objections, but I've got all this training I'm ready to give.
Well, now I know that why we chose this as partnership. You are an incredible trainer, and you have a lot of knowledge to give. So I feel like going back to objections, and they're just kind of a mindset. You don't make it a big deal, they don't make it a big deal. That's my biggest takeaway from it. And then people are people. They're gonna object to things. Everybody objects to something. You just gotta kind of go around it. And like the biggest thing is the other one I would say is when they have a policy but they don't want to show it to you. Like, I'm sorry, I'm here to do my job. I'm not just going to sign you up for a plan. Like, let's do a policy review. Let's make sure that we have a full picture before. Like, if you don't know where your policy documents are, how is your family going to know where they are when something happens?
You want me to give you a good one for that?
Yes.
So if somebody doesn't want to give me their policy, or they start questioning why I'm asking in-depth questions, I find an analogy. I find something that I know they can relate to. And for our seniors, it's going to the doctor. Now, Yola, if you went to the doctor and you were having maybe heartburn, and you went to the doctor, and immediately before the doctor ran any tests was like, oh my God, prepare the operation room. We need to perform open heart surgery. You would freak out, right?
Of course.
Because you want them to do the workup. It's the same thing we got to do. If you go to the doctor for for a rash, they don't just look at your rash. They listen to your heart. They listen to your lungs. They watch you walk. They do all these different things. We're doing the same thing, and you got to allow me to provide that for you.
I love that. I love that. Yes. Yes. The other thing, like when they're suggesting what type of policy they have or whatever, it's like, all right, raise your hand if you're the licensed insurance agent. I've said that before because it's like I have my license for a reason. I do this job for a reason. I don't care what you heard on the 9.95 commercial, ma'am. Or Dave
Right.
Ramsey, whatever he told you yesterday. Like that, just raise your hand if you've actually been licensed to actually gone to school so you can do this. And 9 times out of 10, that kind of deflects them.
And this is the last thing I'll say, because I know we probably went over time.
Oh,
I told you this one before we got on. Most of these things that we're saying here, you can use in your personal life. You can use in your marriage or your relationship with your children or parents, all of that. It's all the same. But you have two options when you're dealing with objections. You can, number one, you can detonate it. And number two, you can diffuse it. So I was military, so I get that analogy pretty well. But I told Yola, detonating it feels good. Like if Yola told me, well, that's too expensive, and I saw on Colonial Penn the 9.95, and you can say, Miss Johnson, you're an idiot. You don't have your license. What are you trying to do? And that might feel good, right? You just detonated that objection. Or you could diffuse it, and you could relate to her and say, hey, we see that all the time. A lot of people think that you're getting something more than you're getting, and you kind of walk them, and you can diffuse it. Guys, detonating it might feel really good. Diffusing it pays really good, right? So if you can figure out how to take somebody from a hostile situation and find a common ground, right, you'll do well. I heard somebody say the best journey you can take is meeting somebody halfway. And that's really what we're doing in this profession. We're taking people from where they're at, and we're kind of bringing them to where they need to be. And I think if you can get a handle on just how to communicate, the objections will kind of take care of themselves. You'll get to the point where you hear the best presenters always say, I don't ever get objections. Well, it's because they're systematically laying them down before they come up. That's it. I digress.
Exactly. So without further ado, I know we said 15 minutes. I think it's been closer to 30, but this is just kind of some of the things that we are planning as far as content. I know
unfiltered and unscripted.
It's true. Very true. Hence our name, Women Insurance Producers Unfiltered, because Lord knows we don't always get it right. But I appreciate your time. I know we've been trying to do this for a few weeks, you and and I feel like now that we've gotten the first one out of under our belt, we can start giving, a few more episodes of, the Linda and Yola talk, if you will.
Hey, I'm game for it.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna record or stop the recording now and hopefully figure out how to upload it to Facebook so everybody can get the content.
Hey guys, at least like it. At least like it. But we want you guys to have fun. This is such a rewarding career if you can just align yourself with the right folks that have the best intentions for you. But Yola, I'm gonna go have an adult beverage.
Same. Same. I'll see you after the next one.
Bye.